Welcome to the part 10 of this video lecture series. In this session, we'll see three modify commands: fillet, chamfer, and blunt curve. Fillet, chamfer, and blunt curve. First, we'll see what filleting is. And if you remember, the fillet and chamfer option we had discussed when we studied the drawing command rectangle. Both this fillet and chamfer is used for avoiding sharp corners, to give a curve or to give a straight cut at the corners. Okay, fillet being relatively easy, we'll start with fillet. So I have some entity shown on my screen, some objects shown on my screen. Okay, I have something like this, and also I will draw one polyline too. Okay, so I have few entities here. You can see in this case in these entities we have a sharp corner here. See, so sharp corners, there are some extended corners here. See, all these corners are not rounded or flattened. It is showing a very sharp corner. So most of the mechanical components what we are fabricating or what we are drawing, we will be avoiding sharp corners and we'll make a round corner or a flat corner. So for drawing that, we have this option, fillet and chamfer, out of which we'll be seeing fillet first. Fillet actually is rounding these corners. It's rounding the corner by giving a radius. So here you can see that it requires three different items or three different inputs as far as AutoCAD is concerned. One is the first object or the first line, then the second line, also the radius through which we have to fillet. Okay, so I'm starting the fillet command. When you start the fillet command, AutoCAD will ask you to select the first object or the first line. You can say the first object. But if you see the command line, just above this command, the current settings are shown here. Current settings is mode is equal to tree, which we'll discuss later. Then the second one is important, that is radius. Radius is equal to 20. Here radius is shown as 20 because the last time when I used this fillet command in this drawing, it was 20. So that is why it is showing 20 here. In most of the cases, if you are using it for the first time, the radius will be shown as 0. So the first step in filleting is basically to input the radius of the fillet, or we can say fillet radius. So for that one, you need to select this radius option here, or you can type R and give the radius. Say I'll give the radius as 15. Right. Once you give the radius, you are ready to go with the fillet command. Now you can select the first object, then you can select the second object. So you can see that the corner is rounded and this radius will be 15. So this is a normal option or the normal procedure for filleting. So I repeat it. First we'll start fillet command by clicking here or by typing fillet. Then make sure that the radius is what you want, or if the radius is different from what is showing here, or it's a good practice that every time when you are doing filleting, you better change the radius and make sure that your radius is the correct one which we want. Give the radius, then select the first object, then select the second object, so that the corner will be filleted. Now you see there are various other options here. The first option is undo, which you are almost aware, or which you can try out. The second option is polyline. Suppose if you want to fillet all the corners in a polyline, then you can use this polyline option. See the second one which I have drawn is a polyline. You can see this entirely is a one object, whereas this it has been drawn using line command. So these are different objects or different entities. And here, if you want to avoid all the sharp corners, like throughout this particular drawing, you can use that polyline option. So here I'm going to use this radius. I'm okay with 15. Then I'm clicking this polyline. Then Tracker will ask us to select the polyline. You can see when I select the polyline, see all the corners has been filleted in a single click. So if you are preparing your drawing by polyline, and if you want to round all the corners by a particular radius, this is the best option. Right now, we'll see the other options also. Okay, radius we have already seen. Then multiple is for using this command continuously. Right, normally when you select the fillet option, you can make only one fillet and we'll be going out of the command. So if you want to have a number of filleting with the same radius, then you can use this option. Yeah, something like this. If instead of drawing this by polyline, if I have drawn with line segments, and if I want all these corners to be sharpened, then I can use this multiple option, so that I can select this as the first line, this as the second line, so that this fillet will be covered. Then again this as first line, this as second line, so I don't have to use do filleting command again and again. Okay, so that is about this multiple option. Now if you see the trim option, you can see two things like trim and no trim. So here by default it is trim. We have like what I mentioned earlier, we have two options, that is trim and no trim. So now the present option is trim. What this option is or this option does is, see, suppose if I fillet this edge and this edge, or here when we have filleted this edge and this edge, the part of the line segments which is available here, that is this corner, it has been removed or it has been trimmed off. So if you have this trim option on, it will be doing like that. Otherwise, if it is not trim, then it will not be trimming those portion. I'll show with trim and no trim. So initially I will have no trim here. So now the option is no trim. You can see here it is no trim, and the radius is 15 as usual, what we have given here. So I'm selecting this as first line, this as second line. See, it has been filleted, but the ends are not trimmed. Again I'm using the fillet command. Then trim I'm going to change as trim. Okay, and I'm selecting this and this. See, the extended portion or the other portion has been trimmed. So these are the options for filleting. So it is simple. I'm doing all those things what I have done, so that I can use the same figures for showing what chamfer is. Okay, chamfer also is similar to fillet, but only thing is like chamfer requires more details than filleting, because filleting just requires one radius, whereas chamfer, I'll show one chamfer and I'll explain the, say 20, then 30 procedure, and here I have this one. Yeah, here chamfer, you can see this has been chamfered. You can see the distances. See, there is this distance and this distance. So we have two distances, distance 1 and distance 2. The distance 1 is the cut or the length made in the first line what we are selecting, or the first object what we are selecting, and distance 2 is the distance to be cut in the second object what we need to select. So we require two distances, distance 1 and distance 2, or alternatively you can give it as distance and angle, distance in the distance first one and the angle of this chamfer. So both options can be worked out. Okay, so I'll show with the value. See chamfer. See here the current distance are shown here. Distance 1 is 20, distance 2 is 10. Normally we will be, in most of the cases we will be having distance 1 is equal to distance 2, but there is nothing wrong if we have two distances. So first what we need to do is, like, we have to use this option, whether it is distance or distance and angle what we want, and in most of the cases we will be giving it as distance. Say distance, then you can give the first distance, say again 25, second distance again 25. Now like in the fillet case, you can select the first line and select the second line. This will be filleted. Okay, now we'll see the other options, and all these options are similar to what we have seen in the case of fillet, because both these comments are similar. Only difference is here we need more inputs, like that is distance 1 and distance 2. So in the case of fillet, we will be setting the radius initially. Here you need to set the distance. Okay, or alternatively you can give angle option also here. See angle, then it will be asking the distance in the first segment, then it will ask the chamfer angle, say again 45. If you want it equal, it is 45. Then I'll show the polyline option here. Then I'm clicking the polyline, and you can see when I click here, all these edges are chamfered. Right, so that is about polyline. So yeah, we've seen what distance angle option is, and this method also says what whether it is distance or angle method. That is what this method shows, and multiple we have already discussed when we talked about filleting. And trim option is exactly similar to what we have seen in fillet. So by default the trim will be made on. So if I use no trim, and if I use these things, I select these lines, you can see that the filleting is created, but the original objects are not trimmed off. Right. So normally in most of the cases we want trim as trim, so I will keep that option here. Fine. So that is about filleting and chamfer. Okay, so if you see the comments there, okay, I didn't give the comment here. It is chamfer, right? Now there is one more option here, or one more comment here, which is called blend curves, or the comment will be blend, B-E-L-N-D, blend, which can be used for blending curves. Okay, I'll draw some polyline here. Okay, I made this on. Maybe I'll see to make it curve. This. Okay, I have something like this, and I have another curve. Okay, I have another curve like this, and if I want to join these two curves, it can be used for joining arms, or in any other curves, even lines you can use. I will see, so one line here, and I have another line here. Okay, so if you want to join these curves, you can use this blend curve option. So blend curve, then select the first curve, then select the second curve. You can that curve is And let me see whether I can blend this line and this line. Okay, so with a smooth curve it will be blended. See, there are two options in blend curve. That is, one is like there is only one option you can see here, which if you click that one, you can see two options which I was mentioning. One is tangent, another is smooth. So by selecting this smooth and tangent, we can say what type of blending we actually require. Tangent will be like, the curve will be tangent here and tangent here, and smooth will be something like this. We will be having smooth curve here. So that is about blending curves. So simply comments here, blend curve, chamfer and fillet. All these comments are almost similar, and these things are used, we can say, to join. You cannot say it as join, because in the case of filleting and chamfer we are not joining that one, and even in the case of blend curve we are not joining these curves. All those will be remaining as separate entities or separate objects, but it will be connected. In fact, I mean, it will be joined. Hope you understand the difference between these two joints which I am trying to convey. Here a new entity will be created starting from the endpoint of this one to endpoint of this one, whereas it is not joined together. See, join has got a different meaning here, and I think we'll be seeing that join comment also later. Especially in the case of polyline, we'll be using that join comment. Polyline in the sense, editing polyline, we'll be using this join comments. So that's all in this session. We'll see more modified comments in the next session. Thank you.